Welcome, everybody, to the Journeymen Lounge podcast.
You better be praying to God because, you're 14 and losses in a row. You're going to need Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I thought you were pretty wrong, yeah.
Welcome back, Journeymen Lounge podcast listeners. We have a great segment for you guys here to start things off. We're going to talk about our golf game, a little recap. We have a surprise segment for our co-host Ryan, where he's going to have a good depth of knowledge on what it is, but we're going to surprise him with it.
Apparently.
And then we'll dive right into the album. And you got Robert Lawnhart, Bobby, as your host, moving things over to my left.
We got Ryan.
And
I am Woj.
there it is. There's the trio. Woj, you want to get us started a little bit on our golf outing, location, and who came to play?
Right. So this was our second official outing, which we've defined as any time that us three are going, and then we obviously had a +1. That was my buddy Somong. Shout out. We had played Old Orchard, which is in Mount Prospect, I think technically.
Challenging course.
I've played Old Orchard before. I know Bobby has a story of him playing Old Orchard.
I got my ace there on hole 14. It's about 145 yards, 9 iron, Wilson staff ball, and I was pretty drunk and was stogie in the mouth. And we were taking forever for our grouping. It was me, my brother-in-law, my dad. And I just put a bead on this thing. It actually spun backwards into the hole. I overshot it and rolled back in. So,
and you got the plaque to prove it, which we'll put up in the.
So you knew it was a hole-in-one.
No, I didn't, because they had this water feature. So when we were there, the water feature was, I'd say, on its low setting. It was a pretty big water feature. Maybe it was the intoxication, but I could not see.
It was fucking 40 feet tall.
If it has, yeah.
So it was one of those where you walked up to the hole, you're looking for your ball, and then were like,
the
oh,
craziness
shit.
was my brother-in-law Ryan at the time. So I hit my ball.
Great name.
He's like, it's not your ball's not on the green. I'm like, all right, well, chill. It probably rolled off. Not a problem. I'll chip it on and we'll try to make something out of this. He starts running. You've been at the hole. He starts running around the water. He's like, it's not on the green. I'm like, dude, what the fuck's wrong? And at that point I had I think we put in $20. If you got a hole in one, you get I think 10 grand, but it wasn't for that hole. It was for a different challenge hole, that one that was 175 or 80 yards. It was for that hole, but he's like, it's nothing. He's flying over there, and I'm like, okay, well, we all kind of pause, and he's like, holy shit, it went in. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I was like, come on, finger guns, and I'm hammered drunk, and the guys behind us.
And I'm hammered drunk.
No, and the guys behind us who were giving us shit because, come on, let's go pick it up. I'm like, one swing in the hole, is that quick enough? And then I go, flobbing over to the green, but it was a good time.
I'm not quick enough.
Let me ask a quick question. What sound do you make? Because an eagle, which I graciously got
yesterday.
I
would love to. Yeah, he finally got an eagle.
I got an eagle yesterday when I played. It was pretty dope.
Oh, where'd you play?
Hell of a drive.
Just quick, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Bloomingdale. It was like a 458 or 7 yard par 5. Sorry. Hit the first drive 270-ish. Hit the remaining yardage in a 7 iron, and it kind of just boink, boink, boink. Landed 8 feet from the hole.
Dropped it.
Dropped the putt, and it's for an eagle, I'm doing an even
big caw,
even bigger fucking good trip.
I'm going that. Yeah, Birds of War style.
Yeah, Birds of War. Good call out.
Yeah.
And then I followed it up with a birdie, so it was fucking
dude.
It was
1-2. Look at you. I'm
holes.
-3 through these past 2 holes.
Unfortunately, I finished.
Who'd you go with?
I just went by myself. I got grouped up with a couple of randos.
Nice.
It's pretty good stuff, though. Sorry. So let's turn the light back, though.
Back over to our
no,
game,
let's turn the light back to the second outing, though, with Old Orchard. With Bobby's played it before. Ryan, have you played Old Orchard?
I have. That was my second time, I think.
Second time for me too.
So Ryan, give me your 30-second. How did your game go? Because we did a couple videos. They're on the Instagram. Up now when this video comes out.
Overall, it was pretty good. I shot a 102, which is pretty much about my average, I would say. Usually I'm a 95 to 105, somewhere in there. However, I feel like I played better than a 102. I could have shot a 95 and whatnot. I fucked up on the last 2 on the front 9. I got 8s.
Yeah, eights are killers.
And then the first one on the front 9, I got a 7. Then after that, I kind of smoothed it out, and I ended up getting like I think I got a 54 on the front and a 48 on the back or something like that. So, and it also didn't help that I was like super duper hungry and
right,
coming off of a cold still, so my body energy quite wasn't where it normally would be. So I was kind of like just like honestly wanting to eat so bad.
I could see that as a mental like block too, because now you're not focused on your shot. You're like, my stomach is literally eating itself.
Like, I need energy, but it's my own fault. I didn't eat anything. So,
I was gonna say 16, maybe like 15 through 18 for me that day. I was like, I don't really give a fuck about golf anymore. We need to get some.
Which was disappointing. We'll talk about it after.
And can we all agree the par threes on there, especially the one which was I think is hole 17, like 225. That does not make a par three, and it had a tight like green area. So if you went right, gone. If you went short, water. If you went left,
long.
I think only 2 of their par threes were like.
Within reason. Like I said, the one I aced and the other one was like 175. And then
the second to last hole was fairly, but we moved up to the whites.
We moved up to the whites,
right,
but
so
no, I'm just saying if we teed off from the tips like we have been doing, 220. And I'm like, I'm tired of me putting out a solid like 3-wood.
We didn't. Or were you going to set a game?
I was just saying we lost so many balls that we knew we hit in play. But we just could not find them. For the life of us, I don't know why. I must have lost at least like 8 balls that way. It was crazy.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that we played the $5 a hole for the par threes. I won the first one, and then nobody fucking even.
I messed up.
You had it.
You had it, and
I missed that 7-footer
right next to the hole.
Yeah,
but then we also had 2 other par threes though that nobody hit it.
Yeah, nobody hit it. That was my own fault.
But my 30-second review or analysis of my game would be like. I think I shot at 89. I was like kind of right in inconsistency of like hole to hole. Like one hole would be like
you had I think 1 or 2 blow up holes. That's it.
Probably, but I'm just saying is like it's very consistent with my game of like, oh, I'm gonna have a great par or like get a bogey, but I should have had a par there, and then the next hole you have a 7, and you're like, fuck. Then you come back and you're like, hey, I have an opportunity for a birdie or something like that. It's like. The inconsistency of that just kind of reigned over the whole game. I still had fun because I had some, like Bobby said before, I had a birdie on the second hole.
That you should have drained, and that's what pissed me off.
Thank you. I appreciate
I feel like I was piping my drives.
You guys both were.
And some of my iron shots, but they were just a little bit left or right. Couldn't get them consistently where I wanted to. And then a couple of the in-between, like just off the green shots, those tricky ones I have trouble with sometimes where it's like, you kind of want to take like a half swing, but you shouldn't. You got to follow through, but I don't always do that. So I was having a little trouble with that as well.
The skills are there. Like I said, I think outside of a few, let's just call them mental errors, you do have a pretty crisp game. I do like the swing.
Thank you.
The construction of your swing looks good. It's just a matter of maybe slowing down, executing, and then stuff around the green. That's tough, though, to learn that, like those 20-yard shots or those 10-yard flops.
It's like usually I do kind of a weird like an in-between shot with my sand wedge where I kind of like chop at it, and it usually works, but it was not working that day for whatever reason. Woj is pretty
good around the green. Woj is I think Presidente in that field.
But I think I was putting pretty well. I've been trying this thing now where instead of like taking a couple of warm-ups, I just go right behind it and just line it up and putt it, and I feel like I'm having a better success rate.
You just go for it.
Yeah.
I think there's a few pros that do that too. Like they'll look at it, but they're not doing any of those practice. They walk up and just address it. So.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, to me, Somong that joined.
I called him Saigon for a few holes.
He called him Kaido or some bullshit.
I like that. That's funny.
Okay, no. I called him Kyodai, and that was before we went there. That was the night before when you were like, hey, my friend's coming. And I forgot what his name was. I was like, what was his name again? And you're like, Somong. I'm like, oh, I thought it was Kyodai.
I was like, I don't even know where you got that
after
from.
That, it's a Batman villain. But after that, I remembered it the whole time.
Yeah, dude. Somong is a
He's
great
a cool dude. Cool customer.
He's just a great dude to golf with. He gets the vibe of like, hey, we need to do this. He gets
mad
at.
He's
he gets
funny.
mad at the
and
same
he likes
stuff.
He likes making fun of himself and giving you a hard time. I enjoyed
well, we're
that.
family, dude. I mean, that's what we do. It's my brother, baby.
He kept saying you're a little crybaby or whatever. It was funny as hell.
Yeah, he's giving you the business.
Are you gonna cry about it? You gonna cry?
Yeah. I love Somong. All right. So we did the golf outing again. The next one is going to be based on when we're able to do another.
Hopefully within the next 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that's preferable. But again, I like that we're not scheduling shit of going like,
There's
hey,
a-
we're gonna do 5 golf outings a year. Fuck it.
There's a couple of factors we're waiting on to confirm the date.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, if we get another one, great. I'm gonna post the picture of Bobby's ace plaque, which I think is dope.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't do well that. I think I shot a 90 something that round.
That's
though.
fine, man. But
Doesn't
like
matter, you got
again,
a hole in one,
Got a
dude.
1 in there, yeah.
having the plaque is dope.
Yeah.
The scorecard, we'll probably throw that in because I
Sure.
think we threw it in the last time. The couple of videos are on Instagram, but
Hell yes.
close the book on the second outing and go to this next topic, which we're gonna try and keep it tight.
Is
I
this
know,
the surprise
Yeah,
topic?
this is our surprise
but
topic.
but I'm gonna let Bobby kind of ask the question and lead it. But just keep in mind here, Bobby, just keep pick two of the teams and
right.
go head to head. Do not add in the third team. Do you get what I'm
Okay,
saying?
understood. All right, so
Okay.
I'm going to go with my original question that I probed to Woj before you came here. 92 Dream Team against the 2008 Redeem Team. Thoughts?
Like who if they win, who would
If
win?
think if there was maybe just one game or a 7-game series.
They're playing against each other.
Yeah, against each other.
Man.
Do you know the roster? If not, I can pull
Yeah,
it up.
no, I know the roster for sure. I mean, I'd like to go Dream Team, but I feel like I'm kind of biased.
Just for reference here, let's just put
Well, it's
in.
like Dream Team: Michael, Scotty, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, Christian Leitner,
Yep.
Chris Mullen.
Did you mention Barkley?
I did. I think
Patrick
that's
Ewing.
I mentioned him. Mentioned
Larry
Admiral
Larry Bird.
Bird. Yes.
Bird.
Magic Johnson.
Clyde Drexler.
Clyde Drexler.
Christian Leitner.
Said Christian Leitner.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
The Redeem
Chris
Team.
Mullen.
Chris Mullen. I said
Yep.
Chris Mullen.
Okay. All right, we
I
got
believe the
everybody.
Redeem Team would be Kobe, LeBron, Wade, Melo, Dwight Howard, maybe.
Yep, Dwight Howard.
Is Chris Bosh in there?
Yes.
Okay. Who else would be in there?
All right, here we
Redeem
go.
I got one. that
Jason
if-
Kidd.
Yeah, I got one that if you get it, hold on, don't give it to him yet. I got one that if you get it, I'm gonna throw a bet down.
right.
I would say Dwight Howard, Darren Williams,
Okay, if you get this one guy,
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul's on there.
This one guy. What position does he play?
Nah, I'm not giving that away.
Okay.
There's only 15 guys on the fucking thing.
Bruce Bowen.
No, not on there. Good guess though.
Yeah, that was a good guess.
2008. Man, this is like so long ago. It's hard to think.
You got a lot of them, though.
All right, I'll give you this. This is not the guy I'm thinking of, but former Chicago Bull.
Okay. During that time,
No, played in Utah.
Boozer.
Yep.
Okay. Am I missing?
I got you got a
Two
buck
more.
that you're missing, and then I'm not going to give you the team name of the guy.
Is it a
that-
buck?
A buck.
A Milwaukee buck?
No, fucking
Michael
Bauer.
Redd.
Yeah.
Michael Redd.
Okay, and there's one more player.
Yep.
There's one more player. Like I said, if you get this,
Son of a king.
no, you can't fucking do that, man.
Son of a king. I don't know.
It's not a Sacramento king. Sorry.
No, you just can't. Don't give him any clues.
All right, fine.
He's got to get in his own basketball knowledge.
I don't know.
All right.
That
Give
kinda-
it to him
that kinda
anyways.
threw
That
me
was the
off.
bet anyways. Tyshawn Prince.
Oh, Tayshaun Prince.
Tayshaun
yes.
Prince. You would have never got it.
No, I should have though. That's actually because he's a defensive stopper. That makes sense.
All right, so thoughts on the Redeem Team
Right.
versus the Dream Team
And
for
we're-
a 1-game and then a 7-game series.
Okay, so I'm gonna go just real quick because
Go.
we've kind of talked about this before, but like in the one game,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a toss up. I think any one of those, like LeBron or Kobe, could go off because they're fucking that good.
Yes.
Same thing with Jordan, and so the toss up, I would probably put still my, bet on the Dream Team just because of the pedigree, the experience. So I'm going Dream Team for 1 game. I would also go Dream Team without a doubt for the 7-game series because I look at it like their experience with the finals. They have so many
Chuck
people.
Daly as the coach, which we looked up.
Chuck Daly, as Bad Boys, fucking great 30 for 30. If you guys haven't seen this, fucking great.
It is awesome. Go check it out.
That's my personal thing is Dream Team, but it's close.
Yeah.
And then Dream Team for sure in a 7-game series. They have to.
I think
take
I'd
that.
probably say the same thing, just because at the time that we're talking the Dream Team that's like prime Michael Jordan, prime.
Charles Barkley.
Barkley, Malone,
Stockton.
Admiral, Ewing. All these guys are like
Some of the older ones were Magic and Larry.
Magic and Larry
And Drexler.
Magic is still pretty good, but he's got the HIV thing, so he's not. I'm just saying, like he's like kind
I'm not sure if that was
he's
known
winding
in 92,
down.
though.
I believe it was. Yeah, I believe he retired and he came back to
Just
play.
funny that you
Oh,
said
okay.
the HIV thing.
But
It is what
and I
it
think
is.
if they played a 7-game, I'd like to think that the Dream Team would win, but I definitely think that the Redeem Team would take
You think it'd go
a couple.
the distance?
It would go 6-7 games. I think. Just,
Okay.
the only thing that worries me about the Redeem Team is that LeBron is just so hard to cover. Like he's a unicorn.
Okay.
However,
All right, go ahead.
he's not like prime LeBron. LeBron, he's approaching there. Like but it's before Miami. So when he was in Cleveland, which he was still very good, but he hadn't really won yet necessarily. So,
let me just ask you this, because this is what we had a little bit of difficulty with. Who would guard LeBron
Scottie Pippen.
if you also have, like, because there's a couple other small forwards on that Redeem team. Like, what if Melo and LeBron is on the court and they go, hey, we're going to put, just for fucking argument's sake,
yeah.
you put Scotty on Melo.
Yeah. No, I would put Scottie on LeBron, and I would put Charles Barkley on Melo.
Okay, again, in the scenario,
I know,
what
but
I'm
I'm
asking,
coaching.
Who would be
Hey,
who
let
would
him
be the
answer.
second choice to guard the LeBron? I don't really have like that.
I
He
think
would.
MJ. I mean,
Yeah, you probably do MJ just because he's going to have
He's a
the
defensive
will to do it, and then if not MJ, you could try Barkley, but he's undersized, so he's only
what about
6
David
foot.
Robinson?
Nah, I think he'd be too slow to guard LeBron.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I think he'd match up with him in the post, obviously, but if you had to guard him outside and shit,
yeah, that'd be a tougher.
Chris Mullin's probably too slow.
No. Chance.
Maybe Karl Malone, but again, the speed thing would be.
Okay.
But Karl Malone is like real buff and muscular in his prime in '92, so maybe.
I think that the Redeem Team would not do anything down low on the Dream Team. I don't think they could. Like if they try to drive to the paint and do something, fancy, it's
They're
not going
weak.
in.
They're for sure weak at.
It's like the
forward
Redeem
and
Team. Most of the players
centers.
are like kind of entering their prime. They're there, but they're in the beginning. Whereas the Dream Team, they're in it, and they're like.
Some of them obviously a little more experienced and older. Like Larry Bird, his back was done. at
Larry
that
Bird
point.
was done. He would not be a.
He was more of a coach at that point,
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
Good take on this. I was curious because I'm like, I guarantee he has the knowledge on this to make it.
Maybe Magic could guard LeBron too because he has the size and he's
Magic,
a guard.
He was a good
probably-
defenseman.
I don't
He was
know.
a stout boy.
Yeah, I would say I would definitely put Scotty, but if you don't put Scotty for some reason,
Yeah. Again, dude, I was just trying to play
I
devil's
just-
advocate. You're like, no,
well,
Scotty's
why
on
would
LeBron.
I not put my best defender on their,
All right,
their best
I
player?
guess last question for him is just a simple one. Who do you think had a stronger bench?
Oh man,
I think it's 92, no doubt.
yeah, I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
I'd say that there are some 2008 members though that could definitely, I think, outswing or outplay.
sure.
I
some of them.
think Dwight Howard would be a challenge somewhat, but
Yes.
Patrick Ewing and David Robinson are obviously really good, but Dwight Howard in 2008 was a fucking beast.
Yeah, he
you
was.
know.
He was mean.
He was the best center in the league. I guess obviously they were too at the time. But I think he might give them some problems because, again, he's very athletic as well. Fast, can get up and down the court,
Right.
lengthy, block shots.
The Redeem Team was definitely a little bit more speedier, more athletic in that sense, and I think probably better shooters in for more distance shots.
I really think the X factor would be how well is LeBron playing? How locked in is LeBron?
I guess mine would be the opposite. How well MJ's playing.
Sure. I think MJ always is going to bring it. I think especially in a matchup like that.
I mean, when he's playing
the best of the best.
dude. Yeah, if some guy's gonna say, "Nah, LeBron's the best," he was
Because
like,
Kobe
"Get
would
the
match
fuck
up with
Espe-
those two would be
yeah.
at each other's
Especially
heels.
with Kobe, yeah, that would be a good back and forth. But again, if LeBron whenever LeBron decides to turn it on, you can't stop him most of the time. It's very difficult to.
I mean, you can say the same thing with MJ.
No,
but
for sure. But I'm just saying with his size and speed,
like an X factor more than a Scottie Pippen.
I feel like
maybe.
LeBron could get to the cup whenever he wants.
If he's on, yeah, I get what you're saying.
But at that
doubt
point,
if David Robinson's
at
there.
that point, I would say though to argue for the Dream Team's favor, LeBron wasn't shooting threes well, so you could make him step back and shoot. I could live with that at that time.
There
Okay.
you go. Coach Ryan's perspective there. Now that's how you win.
Well, that was our surprise topic. Like I
That
said,
was fun.
the Dream Team I would give in a 7-game series, no doubt. I think that they would be able to adapt and adjust a lot better than the younger group that makes up the Redeem Team.
Mm-hmm.
But to Woj's point, I could see the Redeem Team and just a 1-game, 92 rules too, so you could get aggressive. I could see them pulling it off. Not to say that the Dream Team wouldn't smash them if it came down to a series, but in a coin flip.
I would really love to see it.
That'd be a cool one.
Especially with Stockton, because a lot of people I feel like underrate him.
Yo,
Stockton's
people
the man,
people
dude.
sleep on
And
Stockton.
he was
for
really
sure.
good. I would be curious.
Isn't he top 10 for 3 points?
He's like assists,
and assists. The mailman.
I would like to see
Malone.
how he would transition to play against the more athletic players, but I think he could do well still. I think he was such a sound, fundamental, and smart player.
Yes, he was.
He would figure out a way to use that to his not being.
And
as
he didn't turn
athletic.
the ball over.
Yeah,
People don't give him that. Like he never saw like Stockton lose his dribble or
and you
bad
got
pass.
to factor into the chemistry of him and Karl Malone being on the same team playing.
And you have
together.
Scotty and MJ too. Imagine those four.
Exactly.
That'd be a cool four. Stockton bringing up point guard, then you have MJ as the shooting guard.
Bottom line, outside
Pippen
of Kobe, I think that the Dream Team wants it more.
Yeah, I think they'd have more in their tank. You're right. More heart too.
Miles and miles of heart.
That's right.
Absolutely.
All right, that was our surprise topic.
Right. So we
stuff.
brought it up just because the Paris Olympics are just finishing. You know, in my opinion, it's not really. You know, I'll ask you guys what you think, but in my opinion, USA should win every single goddamn Olympic.
Yeah,
we should have lost to Serbia.
We should dominate everybody.
I'm just saying, every single year you have the best of the best of the best of the best.
Yes, exactly.
You should be dominating.
We should be double-digit wins every time.
Everyone on our team is either at least an all-star, if not an elite, one of the best players in the league. Whereas other teams, they might have like 6 NBA players, and 2 of them be like that, but not the whole team, you know, or whatever. So
how did Serbia blow that lead? That's what kind of, I know that we kind of turned it on a little bit, but Serbia had USA's number for about 2 to 3 quarters.
I don't know. I didn't catch it, honestly, so I don't know. But I think I was going golfing or something.
No, if you get a chance, maybe pop on online to maybe do some key highlights or something.
Either way, they pulled it off, thankfully.
That's sad that USA barely won,
Yeah, I know, exactly. We should dominate every time, like we were saying.
All right. So, yeah, that wraps up our kind of our basketball segment.
We go into the album watch?
Yep, that's what we're doing.
All right, so why don't we tell what was our album this week?
Yep, I'm
pulling it up.
I'm doing it, bud.
I'm setting you up,
graphic.
dude.
I know. That's all good. No, we did Wu Tang Clan, Enter the Wu Tang 36 Chambers. This was my choice. As I said in the last episode, for those who have seen it, I've never listened to this album in its entirety. I've known some of the singles off of it for sure, but I was throwing kind of a dart out. And to me, I think I hit a solid fucking, double at least with this one.
Yeah.
So I'm pleasantly surprised on the Stankonia was the first one, so I'm kind of redeeming myself.
You only had up to go from there,
Yeah, pretty much. So just real quick, track listing, Bring the Ruckus, Shame on
Dude.
Asterisk.
Clan in the Front, Wu-Tang 7th Chamber, which we'll talk about, Can It All Be So Simple, The Mystery of Chess Boxing, Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With, Cream, Method Man, Protect Your Neck, Tears with a Z. Yo, Sultan. Wu-Tang 7th Chamber Part 2. Okay. There was also a bonus one with the Method Man Skunk remix.
They were all like remixes, it seemed like. Protect Your Neck, Shaolin version.
I think let's just keep it to the 12.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And we're going to kick this off here with... where were you guys introduced to the clan?
Maybe you might want to rephrase that.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
The only clan I fuck with is Wu-Tang Clan. So.
All right, nice.
When did I get? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I probably heard like Cream and shit when I was younger. I didn't know it was Wu-Tang. I would say the first time I was aware of Wu-Tang would probably be Chappelle Show when they were doing the skit with the
that's fair. I think that's
the racial draft. Yeah, and they got drafted by the Asian group. And I was like, who's this?
Old Dirt McGirt is now the Old Dirt.
Like, who's Wu-Tang? And then definitely I remember the song. That's ODB song maybe. I was gonna say starting off in Knocked Up is the one. I think it's ODB though. And I'm thinking about it. But either way, I don't know. I would say probably the Chappelle Show, and then I don't know when I got more into rap and hip hop later on. Started watching more like documentaries and stuff, and they would pop up. I'd be like, "Oh, who's this Wu-Tang? Oh, Method Man was in there. Oh, this guy was in there." And
Method Man's so good.
I also watched the first season of that show on Hulu. It was okay, but yeah, I'd say that's my history with Wu-Tang.
I think I got, like I said, I've been introduced to their songs. I've heard Cream. I've heard a lot of some of these other ones, and I guess Wu-Tang ain't none to fuck with. I knew they existed, but it's not like I did a deep dive or bought their album. So
Yeah.
I knew them, I guess, probably in high school, but more, I guess, became more familiar in college. I think that's the best way to describe it.
I did buy their greatest hit CD from like Half Price Books. Maybe like
Half price books,
maybe
man. You can always
about
find a good deal.
5 to 10 years ago.
Sponsor us.
I love Half Price Books.
Okay.
It's good all time.
And also, just to throw it out there, the just kind of background real quick. The Wu Tang Clan is in fact like a bunch of fucking people, definitely guys that you've heard of, and I believe they're formed in '92, right?
Yeah, this was in '94.
Yeah,
This album.
They're from Staten Island.
I don't know.
Oh, they're from Staten Island. They're like
Okay.
a bunch of guys from around the neighborhood, and then they started like kind of getting together. And I think some of them are friends, some of them
Some are
they
cousins.
met.
I saw.
Yeah. Basically, they're like, was it like I don't know, was it like 8 to 10 guys?
So this is what I would kind of say, and correct me if I'm wrong here. I got RZA, Ghostface Killer, Old Dirty Bastard, the Jizza, Method Man, Raekwon, Inspector Deck, and that's who I qualify. I see Capadonna is more recent, Master Killer.
You got ODB?
You got ODB.
ODB,
I did.
definitely.
You know, some of these other guys down here,
Okay.
like to me, they're
So they're like 7 to 10 of them, 7 prime members, maybe a 3
I mean,
featuring
they were
a time.
definitely make the numbers for a clan. I guess.
And then RZA produced all their music, like he was the main producer or whatever. So that was like,
And RZA, as we're just kind of connecting it to fucking thing, he played one of the detectives
American
in
Gangster.
American Gangster, which we just
Yeah.
reviewed a little bit ago.
That's
Great
right.
actor as well.
yeah.
So
And I would say he was really into kung fu and like kung fu movies and shit. So that's kind of where I think they
Right.
got the idea for the name of the group and the whole sound with the CD.
I totally agree. I would just throw it out there that the my experience is like I really didn't listen to them until, I mean, probably hearing them again periodically in the late '90s and maybe early 2000s, just randomly. Like if you have a friend maybe who was like, "Hey, I heard this shit. Wu Tang Clan put this on."
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely after the fact where that shit came out.
I feel like I definitely knew about Method Man before Wu Tang, like because of him and Redman.
Yes,
But- and
I would agree with that.
And he was in the Limp Bizkit song or whatever, and I was like, oh, I didn't know he was in Wu Tang. Like later on, I found out
Right.
about that.
Okay. Yeah. I think that tracks for me too.
Right, and I would just say though that the like, you know, you hear it and you're like, okay, whatever. Chappelle's Show kind of
Reignited them a little bit.
reignites like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I do like these fucking guys. And then when I just chose this one, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why did I neglect them for so long?
Yeah,
Like,
I think
it's
it's a great pickup.
so
Dude,
stupid.
we had some good rap albums on the past couple of weeks.
I was gonna say too. Besides RZA being an actor, Method Man also an actor.
Yeah.
Was in The Wire. Obviously,
He's been in a few things.
How High, him and
Yeah.
Redman, and
Yep.
a couple other things. But yeah, it's both them connect. Both good, decent actors.
Definitely so. So in terms of I'm just gonna go top 3, bottom 3.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
On the album. Fuck commercial. Just
Yeah, whatever you want.
do
It's your review, dude.
Yeah. I'm gonna start. Bring the Ruckus. I mean, it starts off with a fucking hit.
Yeah,
Um,
great album.
I
Or
love
great track, sorry.
just the fact that it starts off the album. Excuse me. I could also go with Method Man. I mean, I put Method Man as the best rapper of the group in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then I also have Cream is kind of that classic one that you know that was probably one of the first ones that I heard for sure to kind of introduce me to the group. So those are my top 3, and let's go top 3, and then we'll go back. bottom
So mine is Cream, Wu Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with, and then for me, I really enjoyed that Seventh Chamber Part 2, the one towards the end of the album. That one for me is
Okay, so let's talk about this real quick.
Yeah, they have a breakup.
The name of the album is
36.
Wu Tang.
yeah,
Enter the chamber, or enter the Wu Tang 36 chambers. Why is Chamber 7 used?
I think that title again is based off of like kung fu movies. I think.
Okay,
I
it's
think
either
one
kung
of
fu
them
or some literary.
I think one of the movies had a similar title, and they kind of homaged it. If I could be wrong, but
Okay.
I believe
That's a good.
we should do a deeper dive on that.
I,
Maybe for a
I
follow-up.
believe that's correct. I'm like 50%
I
sure.
mean, if one of you guys want to follow up on it, great.
Yeah.
Ryan, and we're gonna put that to you as a homework
All
assignment.
right.
All right, there you go.
All right.
Put it. All right. Obviously, Cream's the best song. It's
Yeah.
not even close.
Cash rules everything
Everything
around
around
me.
I also love the Method Man. The song. It starts off like for like 45 seconds, you're kind of like, what is this? And then it finally gets into the beat, and you're like, all right, this is awesome.
That's what kind of turned me off on that because it was like it took you a while to get your.
I almost
engine
skipped
going.
it. I'm like, no, give it a chance, and then I'm glad I did. And
Sorry,
then,
what song was that?
Method
Method
Man.
Method Man. Yeah.
And then I mean, definitely Wu Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. I also like Protect Your Neck.
That was a good one too.
And Shame on you know.
Shame on a Dude. Bring the Ruckus though. That was a great one to start this album.
Okay,
off.
and then
great
flip
song.
it. What do you guys got as
Pass.
pass or skips?
The other ones like kind of just blended together to me. It wasn't like none of them were bad, but it wasn't like I probably go back and listen to them.
Tears.
Yeah, I'll say Tears.
I got Tears was all
and
right.
the chess boxing was just okay.
I would say
yeah, chess boxing.
Clan into Front was not my.
Yeah, I would agree with all those.
Is all right, and then I will say maybe not a super controversial opinion, but like Wu Tang ain't nothing to fuck with. It's all right to me. It seemed very repetitive of kind of like. To me, this album is like just like because we just did NWA. Like NWA sounds like elementary, like in terms of the beat and then also the lyrics, right? As I was saying when that we reviewed that. For Wu-Tang Clan, it seems like the beats are still kind of elementary, but their lyrics to me are fucking like
Dialed in,
they
yeah.
sound great, but then also they do it, which is what they should have done in NWA is they should have done choruses. Like I put down like most of my favorite parts of songs were like when one guy would say something and then the other guys repeated in the chorus or whatever. Like when they do that shit, it sounds like, hey, this is a fucking group that's like doing their shit. Like
RZA definitely came up with a unique style of production. Like it's kind of like gritty and like. I don't know. It has like I said, like a kind of like a hardness to it, but it has like a good sound still. He I think that was kind of like a unique sound, especially for the time. And like you said, I do like how they blended in all their rappers together. How they all kind of just get a verse but the choruses were a little better, like you said, or whatever. The main, yeah.
I mean, that's just my favorite parts of those songs.
Oh shit! Sorry, dude.
Turn it off.
Technical difficulties. Get it? And we're about to get sued. Yeah.
I fucking clicked on it and then I pressed close all the apps. And
No, but to Woj's hold off on Wu-Tang. I get it in terms of the repetitiveness, but man, I guess for me, that was always a good song if you needed to, kind of, amp things up, get a good workout in. Like you throw that on, you're putting out some new personal best because you're going to hold yourself accountable to that, style of song.
I would say though that most of the Wu-Tang songs to me are very much so like you're not going to say, to me, a lot of them are not like, hey, I'm just going to lay back and kind of like chill out like
you're
this.
Cruising with your boys for something
Wu-Tang.
like
yeah, you're fucking amped up. So
Yeah.
I agree with that. It's like they're more kind of like, hey, we're like play it at a party. I bet you Wu-Tang is fucking great as well. All right, so kind of hit the bottom three. I mean, to me, Wu-Tang, like, do you guys know? Like, I simply do not know. Like, does Wu-Tang have more recent albums, or do you think like their kind of shit was like the 90s and then
No, I think they only made 2 albums and then they disbanded. They'll do the solo shit. If I recall.
well, I know obviously RZA, Meth and Man had their own kind of
ODB
careers.
had their own thing.
Ghostface Killer, I know, had his own shit.
What happens was they all, again, if I recall the documentary and shit,
If I recall,
if I recollect, they all were together or whatever, did the album, and then they each after that, they all like when they signed that deal, they signed solo deals as well. So they all put out their own solo albums, and then I think they were gonna do another one. They might have done like, I think one in '96. I want to say it came out. 97, Wu-Tang Forever, and that was the last one that they really were all, or most of them were together on.
Yeah, it looks like I was just looking up the 93 Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, $3 million, in terms of sales. They sold 30,000 records, I think. What I was reading here is within its first week, and they made it 41 on U.S. Billboard 200 charts. So
I think it's one of those things where they just like they did their own solo thing and they all got big in their own way, and it's like, why split a check 8 ways, and I can get one.
Well, wasn't this kind of the immersion of the East Coast, West Coast start
no,
off
this
too?
is East Coast.
No, I know, but wasn't this kind of near the starting point of feuds beginning between East and West?
That'd be more like 2 years later, 3 years later.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I think this has maybe not laid the groundwork, but maybe it created a presence, more of an East Coast setting.
It was more Biggie and Pac, and then kind of branched with a couple other
Bobby,
groups.
you're right, and it's like it's starting to get there. It's maybe like 2-3 years too early,
Right.
but like right around there is definitely like gangster rap. Obviously, as we were kind of
like
going with NWA. Sorry, I did want to pose a question though, because you guys just made me think of it. It's like, so you can kind of see that comparison then between NWA and Wu Tang is that these guys all. Like, everybody in the group, I would say, of those main 7, they're a name for themselves. You know who that fucking guy is. In NWA, I would argue, is that a couple of the guys definitely fell off. Some guys rose to stardom. Dre, Ice Cube, even Eazy-E, somewhat for a couple of years.
No, he was big, yeah, for sure.
I just think that some of the other guys, they definitely didn't have as much of a thing. So, like, to me, this is why, like, in my opinion, this has got to be why Wu Tang only lasted 2 albums. Is that everybody else broke off and did shit? Like you're
right. There was enough talent to do so. Like you had enough. I guess you had enough firepower within that shotgun to split it up into bullets. You know.
Okay, that's a weird way of putting it, but I get it.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
I get it. Yeah.
A hell of a buckshot in there. You could still take the the load out and make something good.
No,
out
I
of it.
totally get it.
Yeah.
I just again with my limited knowledge of Wu Tang, obviously here it's like
I'm a lot more knowledgeable now.
I'm
research.
for sure gonna keep going. So I haven't gone down the avenue of like Method Man's rapping career. I know his acting pretty well.
Oh,
but
like some of his albums, some of his work.
Like more of his solo work.
Yeah.
Like I like him rapping in these songs. Like I'm hoping that some of his songs got to be in the same vein or whatever. So like that's my kind of maybe like self-imposed homework of like trying to figure out
more of his shit.
Just more of this stuff because like Inspector Deck, I've heard of him. I don't really like. This is also the part like I don't know. Do you guys feel this way? Like, do you guys know every guy's distinctive voice? Method Man, yes, you kind of know it. But can you like pinpoint like, oh, that's absolutely Ghostface Killah?
ODB, you know.
ODB, yes.
Yeah,
obviously.
I'd say those are the 2 that I could easily pinpoint.
Raekwon, I think I could.
Raekwon is one.
I think no, but the rest is a little more of a challenge.
I'm just saying is that like with
RZA,
especially
RZA, maybe.
we're comparing to NWA though. Like NWA, I knew exactly who was speaking at each.
Well, Easy and Ice Cube right out of the gate, you'd know.
But I mean, even between MC Ren,
and Dre?
No, MC Yella and DJ Ren.
Yella.
DJ Yella. I fucking confused
MC
them.
Ren.
Whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit.
So maybe you couldn't pick them out, huh? I can't even. No.
I fucking flip-flop the names.
I don't think DJ Yella rapped too much. I think he was more producing.
All right, no, I get it. I get you. All right. Good album, man.
All
Really
right.
enjoyed this one.
Again, I am just happy that it wasn't what I thought. Like, because again, I took a shot in the dark. So as long as there was enough songs to kind of go, hey, this is, pretty decent. But who's got the next album?
I do.
Yep.
What you got, homie?
All right. Well, I've been thinking about this. Like, we've been doing rap a lot.
Are you
so
going to change the pace?
I kind of wanted to change it up a little bit. And then I'm like, do I want to do a compilation? Do I want to do I kind of want to try and do an album. So I'm going to pick one that I don't know it super well. I think there's like maybe 16 songs. I know like 7 of them. So I'm going to go with
all this build up.
Fall Out Boy, Infinity on High.
You're not going under the cork tree?
You got
I'm gonna go
the cover pulled up?
It's the album after that.
Okay.
Graphic. Okay.
It's the album after that.
No, Bobby, we've gone over this. No graphic for the teaser.
I just like to tease him at this point.
So
look at it fly
It's
up.
pissing me off, man.
Fall Out Boy, Infinity on High.
Okay, we'll do that for the next one.
All right, so that's the one after. Okay.
I like it. We're changing up genres.
I know a handful of them, and I enjoy them. I'm kind of excited to listen to the rest of the album.
Hell yeah.
Very cool.
All right, dope. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back. Movie review is going to be Dazed and Confused, which was also, this was Ryan's pick.
All right.
And that's how we'll fucking take it into the break. Grab a beer. We'll be here.
Check you later.
Chicky leader. Yeah. Fucking great.
And welcome back to your regularly scheduled program. I am Ryan, leading the discussion on our movie for tonight, which will be Dazed and Confused from 1993, directed by and written by Richard Linklater. I'm going to give a brief synopsis of the movie. So basically, it's like the last day of school in 1976 in Austin, Texas. And there's not really, so the cool thing about this movie is there's no main character really, there's no central protagonist, and there's no real central plot. It's kind of just a bunch of different stories going on, like a day in the life of, if you will, like one day, kind of like a hangout movie where like
it's not even 24 hours.
Right. There's multiple character storylines going on throughout the movie, but basically it's like a couple of them would be like the hazing of the ninth graders between the guys and the girls. Pink not wanting to sign. I'll go over who he is, but he's not wanting to sign the pledge, the team pledge. Yeah. And then there's a bunch of people just like kind of hanging out, getting high, getting drunk. Just kind of a day in the life of 1976, I would say. So I'll just start before I get into the characters with your guys. What's your guys' experience with the movie? When did you see it, or how often have you seen it? Do you like it? I guess you don't have to go in your grade, obviously. Just
No, I would say this movie probably was, if I had to guess, probably was never on TV. Like in the mid 2000s, or whatever, right?
I caught it on TV. I would say I would think it was on like AMC or like maybe Comedy Central.
I'm talking about like 20 years ago.
Sure, yeah.
I still, even then,
I saw it on TV before I saw it, before I had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then, in that case, I'm going to assume that it was probably I saw it on TV first. Then, obviously, as you start to experiment with certain things,
you're tailing off there.
You definitely watch the whole thing through. But like I would say, earliest I probably saw it was like maybe 11, 12. Not remembering too much of it. More probably in like high school to college, maybe even, honestly, dude, I might have even been a late bloomer to like one of those movies where you're like, oh shit, I haven't seen this movie all the way through, and I'm like 27 or something like that.
Damn shame, but I'm glad you let.
It's a good movie.
See
yeah.
it.
So I had two older sisters, and I was exposed to this, I think, coming out of elementary school, maybe entering into middle school. So when all this was happening, I'm like, oh man, like here's me in 7th, 8th grade. I'm like, does this continue to go on? Is this like something that I should be prepared for?
Mm-hmm.
But really cool movie, a lot of fun, different characters, and I think a lot of us at some point or another could definitely embody, one or the other, or transition from one to the other. So it really is kind of a buckshot of different storylines, all focused around the 12 hours of time of when school is like out to the next morning.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say for me, I don't know. I saw it on TV, I would think, probably when I was like a teenager, like always just catching different parts of it and being like, oh, what's this movie? I like it. And I always kind of was into, still am, like into 70s stuff because of my dad. He always liked, because he grew up then. So he kind of like.
Great aesthetic.
He kind of like, would like, oh, I love the 70s. Like we used to watch that 70s show. So I always was like just super into that stuff. And then
my dad said he was just like Kelso. Like, swear to God, like he's like they pretty much got it on point.
And then I grew to love it more and more as time went on. And it's not just spoiling, but it's like, one of my all-time favorite movies, like a top 3 movie.
So
for
his
me.
rating will be high.
It will be high, yeah. And it's just like a great, like, literally like the definition of a rewatchable, like a great hangout movie where you just like, you can pop in at any time, any scene, and like they're all good, and like you can enjoy it, and you can pick something up new every time you watch it. Little things with the characters or certain lines. I think, like Bobby said, you can kind of relate to it if you went to high school, even though we didn't grow up in the 70s, but just the different stereotypes, like different people, like how there's like the nice jocks who are like cool with everybody, and there's like the dickhead jocks who are like assholes and nobody likes them, and then just
you got the stoners, the nerds,
right? People kind of just flow in between all the groups,
the sluts, the whores.
Yeah.
So I wish I knew that quote though from It's Always Sunny, where it's Artemis. She was like, the whore, the slut, the slutty whore. You know.
So now that we're kind of talking about that, I'm just gonna really quick just go over the characters and the cast. Like, I'm just gonna give like the name of the character, maybe who they're played by, and like a brief description. I'm gonna try and get through as fast as I can.
Go.
Okay?
You're on the clock.
So we got Randall Pink Floyd, played by Jason London. He's if you had to pick a main character, he's kind of the main character.
He's the
He is
QB
for sure.
that he gets a lot of attention.
He's going to be a senior next year. He's a starting quarterback of the football team, but he doesn't really seem interested in football like the other teammates are. He's kind of more into getting high and just having a good time, hanging out with stoner people more and stuff. He seems to also be friends with everybody, nerds, jocks. He's even nice to the freshmen. Like, he's just kind of like an everyman. You got Don Dawson, played by Sasha Jensen, another senior football player. And again, he's kind of like Pink in the sense of where he flows with all the groups. He's cool with everybody. He just seems like a generally nice, fun guy, but he can be maybe a little more of a dick. Like, he does the hazing, and, you know, he doesn't like maybe enjoy it as like O'Banion, but he's not opposed to it.
Right, no, he's more of that jock stereotype. Yep,
Sure.
keep going.
Benny, played by Cole Hauser, he's a jock football player. He's more of one of the dickhead kind of football players. He's going to be a senior. He enjoys
his truck.
and loves humiliating the freshmen and doing the hazing and other shit like that, and he's really into the football team. We got O'Banion, played by Ben Affleck.
Yep.
He's
Young
the
Ben
he's
Affleck.
a senior who
Psycho.
flunked, so he's a super senior.
Yeah.
He flunked. He's the biggest dickhead and asshole of the whole movie.
Yes.
He doesn't get along with anybody. Even his own teammates kind of think he's a joke.
They just deal with him, essentially.
Can we now name that? That's now the new villain terminology.
O'Banion?
Dickhead asshole.
Oh, dickhead asshole, yeah.
He's a real dickhead asshole of the whole movie.
He enjoys the most of anybody tormenting the freshmen, and I think he failed just to do so. They even made a
Dude,
joke
he's
about
a
it.
psychopath.
Like, he's kind of a
This guy at Warpath.
He goes, "I will murder you" multiple times.
Yes, you got Melvin Spivey, played by Jason O'Smith. He's he's black guy. He's a football player. He's kind of like Donnie and Pink, or more like a Donnie, where he's like cool with everybody, but again, he likes the hazing, but he's not like obsessed with it. He's not like
Right, he backs his team, but he's kind of chill.
he's not like he saved Mitch from O'Banion hitting him again. He's like, oh, you know, Pink, didn't you get a turn or whatever? So,
right. Low key.
Then you got Wooderson, who's played by Matthew McConaughey. He's a former jock and football player. I'm not sure of his age exactly. I clock it as somewhere between 25 and 30 years old.
Yes.
So he used to be like a cool guy, but he still hangs out with high school kids. Which is,
Yeah, he's definitely like 5 years out of high school or something like that.
He gets them beer and shit when they need it. He's genuinely a nice guy. He's cool. He gets along with everybody. If there's a fight, he'll break it up. Like, he's a good dude. So then after that, we got, besides the jocks, we got the burnouts.
Yes.
Michelle, played by Mila Jovovich. She's a stoner artist. Pickford's girlfriend. Pickford, played by Sean Andrews. He's going to be a senior as well. He's friends with Pink, Slater, Donnie. His girlfriend's Michelle. He sells weed to
Rory?
everybody.
He's friends with Rory, right?
Slater, yeah, he's friends with Slater.
Yeah.
He was the one who was supposed to have the party at his house, but his dad found out about it.
Yeah, the guy with the kegs rolling up.
You got Slater, played by Rory Cochrane. He's the biggest stoner of the movie. He's friends with Pink, Donnie, Benny, Pickford, Wooderson. He's constantly stoned the entire movie. There's not one scene where he's not high or getting high.
Right, no, that guy's dedicated to the craft.
You got Clint, played by Nicky Cat. He's kind of a stoner, kind of a greaser, like hybrid. I don't know. He's into cars, a tough guy. He gets in a fight with Mike at the Moon party, at the Moon Tower party, and it's showing he's friends with Wooderson and Pink. And then we got the senior girls. Darla, played by Parker Posey. She's like the head bitch, popular senior.
Boss bitch, yeah.
She enjoys hazing the freshman girls. She's like kind of like the O'Banion of the girls.
That group, yeah.
Simone, played by Joy Lauren Adams. She's a popular senior, hazes the freshmen, but again, isn't mean to them. Kind of like a Donnie, but a girl version. She's Pink's girlfriend, although it seems like they're kind of like on the outs or something, or she likes him more than he likes her.
It's the 70s. It's like not.
Yeah.
It's not
Free
tied.
love,
it's
man.
not tied down.
Right. You got Jody, who's Mitch's sister. She's another senior girl. She seems to be friends with everybody.
Macking on
She's
Pink.
into
yeah.
Pink,
Yeah.
clearly, and like I said, her brother's Mitch. We got Siobhan, who's the sexy blonde, popular senior. She's Donnie's girl or on and off girl.
You notice how he added in sexy blonde
she's
there,
so sexy
and
in
then
this
he
movie.
didn't. Okay.
She's sexy.
Is this the one from Chasing Amy too?
No, that was Joy Lauren Adams. That
Okay.
was Simone. And then we got
Okay.
the other girl, Kay. I don't know. She's like the other friend who talks about the Gilligan's Island in the
The
beginning.
short hair,
Yeah, the
short-haired
short
girl,
hair
right?
brunette. Yeah,
Then we got the nerds. We got Cynthia, played by Marissa Ribisi. She's the redhead senior girl.
Goes out with
she's
Twin
she's
twin
friends
of
with,
Giovanni.
Yeah, she's friends with Mike and Tony, but she also is like cool with like Pink and Jody and all them.
And she starts to go out with Wooderson
hits
at
on
the
her.
end. Yeah.
Tony, played by Anthony Rapp. He's like the smart, nerdy kid with the glasses. Best friends with Mike.
He's the Dahmer of that group,
Mike
man.
and Cynthia.
I got some words for that.
Eventually, him and Sabrina, the freshman girl, kind of get involved together.
Yeah.
We got Mike, played by Adam Goldberg. He's one of the nerd, smart kids, friends with who I just mentioned. He gets in a fight with Clint toward the end. He's kind of like neurotic, I guess I would say.
Yeah, neurotic. Good characterization.
Finally, our last group, we got the freshman, Mitch, played by Wally Wiggins. He's our lead freshman character, kind of like a younger Pink. He's Jody's brother. He's the one who gets paddled really bad after the baseball game, but then he ends up hanging out with the seniors the rest of the night and kind of being the cool kid. Carl, his friend, who's a freshman, he's an arrogant, loud, cocky, blonde kid. His mom was the one who pulled the shotgun on O'Banion.
That was cool. It was a fun scene.
Tommy's the catcher, also friends with them. You got Hirschfelder, the smart, fat, long hair guy, but he's got game. He's making out with the girl at the 8th grade dance.
Yeah, he's macking heavy on the whole 8th grade
and then
dance.
finally,
Hurry up, Hirschfelder. We're going to leave your ass.
Yeah, we're going to leave your ass. Finally, we got Sabrina. She's the freshman girl who gets chosen to hang out with the senior girls by Jody, Siobhan, and Kay most of the night, and she ends up getting with Tony. So that would cover most of the cast.
Dude, that's it. That
quick.
is
I tried to go quick as possible, but it's kind of important for a movie like this to know the characters and what they're. Yeah.
So I just would also like to mention on top of that is that there is another layer of characters that is like I would just kind of classify them as miscellaneous, like the teachers, the coaches.
Sure. We got the junior high teacher, Mr. Payne. You got the liquor store attendant.
Right.
You got the one guy who pulls the gun on him who they knocked over his mailbox.
Yeah.
The one old guy and his wife that talked to Pink at the football game. This arm ready to throw for over 2,000 yards next year. You got those people.
Right. Those guys I just would say is that like they really
and the coaches.
None of those people are really like
too.
notable. I would say the cast of what Ryan mentioned kind of previously, those like 4 or 5 groups, like those are your main people, and also the people that actually went on to continue like acting and doing shit. Everybody else was really, in my opinion, is like a lot of like one and done, or maybe they were popular in like the 60s and 70s. And then, whatever. So
all right, so let's get into our scenes. Let's go into some. Give me a few scenes. Shout them out. Whatever whoever's ready.
Yeah. I want to do a quick one.
And they can be as specific or broad as you like.
Mine is specific in the sense the Emporium trap for O'Banion, where they lure him out and then fucking hit him with some paint and fucking bail. So, like they had a good exit strategy, and he made him look like a fool in front of everyone.
He's been getting the freshmen and taking too much enjoyment at the whole movie, and they finally set him up where they think Carl's in the back, right? And then as soon as he goes out there, they dump a whole fucking can of white paint on him, and he fucking flips his shit. It's great.
Yeah, I like the in the terms of the general scenes, the hazing scene is wild. Like
with the girls or the guys?
With the both.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just in general, of like the one guy says it kind of in the movie of like. Everybody encourages it. No teachers out
the
here.
community
the
basically
parents
is
out here,
behind
they're
it.
selling tickets, they're selling drinks.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Like that to me is just also like the whole thing I put down, like this entire like fictionalized thing is like it's the wild west. There are no rules. You can do what you want. You can drink, you can drive, you smoke weed.
It's 1976, it's Texas. I think things were a little more loosey-goosey back then and more.
They absolutely were.
Yeah, they would pull you over if you were drunk and give you a ride home instead of
hitchhiking was a thing back then.
Yeah, like I think like us seeing it now is like, man, how could this happen? But back then, that was just normal shit. Like they would haze people. Like it's just plus a small town. I think it goes along with it too.
So built in.
Again,
I just put it was the wild west.
Yeah,
it was a lot of just like, yep, this happened. I would also say that the just in general, it does a really good job of incorporating many characters into it. It divides them into like, hey, these specific cliques, but then on top of that, it's like it gives you enough scenes throughout the movie, like these vignettes of like throughout 7
look
different
at you,
scenes.
Thesaurus. Good word.
But like through 7 different scenes, it's like you're still following these specific characters.
Yeah, they set up little things, little relationships.
It's kind of like Pulp Fiction before Pulp Fiction, because Pulp Fiction
kind of, yeah,
came out in what, 94?
Yeah, I mean, it's like in a sense of like characters having dialogue and more based on
Their own
that
storyline a little
and
bit.
irreverent, different stories like Pulp Fiction, where it's kind of like little things put together. Although this is in order chronologically, where Pulp Fiction is not.
They kind of jump around, yep.
Yeah, I'd also say the School's Out for summer. Just the first part where like I enjoy a good
clearing all the lockers out,
clearing the lockers, throwing the papers.
And how about too the great job by the production and the people who made the movie, the aesthetics of like the posters and the magazine cutouts and everything that like you just feel like you're in the 70s. Like they did a great job at that.
I loved the parking lot, all those vehicles, man.
Yes.
All of them are classic, beautiful looking cars. Even the truck that was driven, that Chevy, man.
Yes.
Give me that. I'd be down. Another scene, I guess, to kind of follow up. I liked it when Mitch was, I guess, throwing his game towards that sophomore. And then he walks back over to the group of guys. Like they call him back over, and he's like, "What makes you think I haven't already?" Yeah. And the black dude's like, "Oh, come on, don't fuck with me."
Yes.
What was it, Melvin or Marvin? Yeah, it was just, he was proud of him. He's like, "Look at this guy just risen us."
Like freshman, go over. He's like, not bad for a little freshman, but you gotta watch out for them older girls. He's like, "Hey, come here. We just want to know something. You gonna be fucking that tonight? You gonna be a little wimp?" He's like, "How you know I haven't already?"
Exactly.
Boy, you better run. I think it's past your bedtime.
Respect, though, man. Right there, you just earned a lot of respect from the older group.
Some of the quicker scenes that I loved, like as you were saying, Ryan. Some are just like a 5 to 10 second thing, real quick. Donnie hitting on Mrs. Stroud, the teacher.
Oh yeah.
Can we go? I love that. I also love before that though when he's like, "Hey, let's go make out." The other girl. Me and my brother laugh at that part all the time.
And then also the slow-mo. They did a couple slow-mo scenes in this. The pitching was one. I love that. The other one was, I think,
the getting paddled after the game.
Right.
And then again, we're gonna get others, but like my favorite shot of the movie, or one of them, is slow-mo McConaughey. So Wooderson, Pink, and Mitch walking into the Emporium while Hurricane plays.
Right.
And they just like
Bob Dylan, man. Yeah, fucking
around.
great.
You see all the foosball, the pool tables, the pinball. Like, you just want to be there. It's such a
I did. I definitely wanted to be there.
Yeah.
That looks fun.
The last two I have is Slater. When it's real quick if you catch it. When is it Kevin
Pickford?
Yeah.
Kevin Pickford.
When Pickford is getting like scolded by his parents, he hands Slater the weed
like,
first.
Hide it, man.
And then he ends up just doing this, though, in his hands before they come in. He's, like, weighing it himself, like, in his hands. I thought it was great.
Yeah, right, because he just bought that. He's like, maybe he's shorting
How about that,
me.
too? He goes to buy weed, and he's like, "Hey, man, can you spot me 10? I'll get you next week."
Sorry, I did one more real quick.
Okay.
Slater is just the rant about George Washington. And
that was fucking funny.
Shit.
That was
he knew
hilarious.
the southern states would be a cash crop, man. You know what? Every time he came home, his wife had a big fat bowl for him.
Absolutely, George toked weed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She was
Martha
the
was the coolest. Yeah.
She was a hip lady, man.
He was really out there too with the whole extraterrestrial. You know, yeah.
For me personally, like, I think this movie, I would say from the point when it gets to nighttime, when Free Ride kicks on, and Kevin's party has been busted or whatever by his dad, and they get the baseball game. Everybody's driving around. The baseball game part, the hazing.
Yeah. They had a whole trunk full of beer too, which I loved.
From there,
beer bus. Yeah. Beer bus is the greatest idea for anything.
From that point, though, to like through the moon party is like unassailable. Like, you could pick out anything in there, and it would be great. I would just specifically mention, like I said,
we got literary excellence.
I don't know if that was used entirely correctly, but
no, I think it was.
I like it.
Like I said, every time they're showing the cruising scenes, I love, with like the guys trying to get with the girls, and like just them like burning and smoking weed, like driving around, like. Can relate to that.
I like they destroying the mailbox, then the bowling ball through the back of the window.
I was gonna say that's my favorite scene, probably, when they go on the thing and they drive around, knock the mailboxes over, and then he throws the bowling ball through the window, and then they go to get the beer, and he's gonna steal it, but he's actually gonna pay for it, and then the guy comes up to him with the gun and it points it to his head. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Destroying mailbox is a felony offense. I called the police," or whatever.
And that one dude, what was his, Kevin or whoever was driving, he was freaking out a little bit.
And then I love anything with Wooderson is great. I love him hitting on Cynthia, like pulling up to the car with them and be like, "Hey, we got party at the Moon Tower. You should lose 2 geeks in the con. Come with us, but that's okay."
Yeah, we'll deal with that later.
Yeah. And then
specifically, be a lot cooler if you did.
Specifically, I'm just gonna break down a couple from the Moon Party. I have a few highlighted. I love when they walk in and Adam Goldberg's character Mike says, "Oh, looks like someone's smoking weed or reefer or whatever," and then the Clint guy calls him out and he's like, What'd you say, man? What the hell? I'm the one smoking marijuana, motherfucker. Fuck you.
That's like overly aggressive.
No,
I don't
but
get that.
I like that guy because I hate when people are like that. When you're like smoking weed and they're like, "Oh, he's getting high," or like they have to like call it out. Like,
You know what? Okay,
used to
agreed.
do that to me. It was annoy the shit out of me. So every time I see that in a movie, after I start burning or whatever,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I love Clint. Even
If
though
you don't like my fire, then don't come
he
around.
took it too far, but
I'm gonna
it
burn
was
one
great.
I beat the shit out of him.
I love when Mitch is walking around the party all fucked up and Wrong Place, Right Time is playing, and he's like super.
That was a
stoned.
great track to include right
Yes.
at that moment.
We're gonna get to soundtrack.
And
Yeah,
then
soundtrack on
we
this
talked
is
about the Martha
good.
Washington thing, and then I would also say, oh yeah, we talked about this too. With Pink and Donnie and Melvin bust Mitch's balls about the girl and shit. That was fun.
Right.
But other than that, I think we covered most of them. That's a lot of. There's a lot of good scenes.
Next one.
Let's go to quotes.
Okay.
You know what I like about high school girls? There we
No,
go.
go for it.
I stay the same, or no, they
like-
stay the same age. I
get
fucked
older,
it
they
up.
stay
the same age.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Right.
God damn it, I fucked it up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Ryan, can you do it justice?
Do
please?
it,
Sure.
please.
That's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age. Yes, they do. Yes, they
There we
do.
go.
Perfect.
Dude, there's one that I didn't track the first couple times through is when the Mitch and his buddies are asking to get out early so they can avoid O'Banion.
Oh,
and
yes,
all
you know
that.
Mr. Payne?
Mr. Payne's like,
Yes.
it's like the sergeant told us before one trip into the jungle. Men, 50 of you are leaving on a mission.
25.
25, you ain't coming back.
25 of you ain't coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so good.
I love it.
That guy nails his one scene. He's
One
so
scene, right? Yeah.
I'm just gonna motor through Wooderson quotes really quick
Yeah,
because he's got the best.
He's got a lot.
Obviously, all right. The most infamous quote from the movie.
That's
besides the
pulled
movie
from
one.
a Live Doors
yes,
album.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Party at the Moon Tower. I say that
Mm-hmm.
one. Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man.
L-I-V-I-N,
Be a
man.
lot cooler if you did.
Yeah.
And then you just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Watch the leather, man.
Watch the leather.
He's
man.
got a kick-ass
He
car,
was really
man.
stoned in that scene too. You could tell. Like,
Oh yeah, you could tell he was absent.
we talked about that. I love this one. Dawson giving this advice, which is so true. He says, "Hey, you know that Julie chick loves you. You want her? You gotta play cool, because you can't let her know how much you like her. Because if she knows, she'll dump you like that. Believe me. Like if she asks you, you want to ride? You say, no, I've got my own ride, but maybe I'll see you later. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? But it works.
Dude, the guy, he's preaching real
so
shit,
true.
though. So true.
I already said the other one, like, hurry up, Hirschfelder, we're going to leave your
Yeah,
ass.
maybe.
I also, there's a real quick one that you don't hear all the time, is like when Darla is like talking to her, she's like, wipe that face off your head, bitch.
Yeah. You love us. You
Like,
love
that's
us.
crazy. I also love, though, when Benny is like, he's tossing beers out. So Donnie goes to the beer
Yes,
bar.
yes.
He's grabs a beer, tosses it
The Hirschfelder.
to the Hirschfelder who they
He's
just
he's
paddled.
a cool dude.
And Benny's like, dude, what are you doing,
Why
man? You're wasting a beer.
Right.
And then Donnie ends up tossing.
No, Banyan.
Oh, O'Banion
Yeah.
ends up grabbing a beer, then fucking whipping it. He's like, that's another fucking beer. Just wasting another
fucking beer.
Yeah.
I question, but really quickly. I know I'm gonna stay on the quotes, but just on the subject of it, how warm do you think those beers were in the trunk?
Oh, that'd
Full
be,
ice.
Do you think they were cold?
It's full ice.
Oh, I didn't see ice.
Look, yeah,
I just
look
saw
at
a bunch of beer bottles.
Nah, look
Yeah,
at the
same.
thing.
I
It's full.
only saw beer.
Okay.
I'm
Ice,
telling you,
that's
they
cool.
filled it up with ice.
Okay.
It was
Beer
the greatest
trunk.
beer bus.
Yeah.
Greatest idea.
Back to the quotes. Sorry.
I'm done on quotes. so go
Clint,
ahead.
I only came here to do two things: kick some ass and drink some beer. It looks like we're out of beer.
That's an iconic.
That part where they're in the
Yeah.
car with Tony, Mike, and Cynthia, he's telling him like why he doesn't want to be a lawyer anymore. He's like, so what are you gonna? So you're not gonna go to law school then? What are you gonna do? He's like, I want to dance. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I always love
That was
part.
fun. You know that kick ass and take beer? That's off of They Live, which was John Carpenter's film.
Yes. Well,
All right,
I was
Bubblegum.
Chew
Yeah.
Bubblegum and yeah.
Yeah, kick ass, and it looks like
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I like when Mike's all fucked up at the party and he's like, don't narrate for that bitch. I hate that shit. It's like that Clint fucker and all from his friends. Huh? Motherfucker. Dominant male monkey motherfucker.
Oh yeah, his monologue, getting himself psyched up to just go over there and hit him. I like
A
that.
couple of bandy ones. You were an embarrassment to the game of pool and you should be glad I even let you play at my table.
I love that one.
And then also when they pull up to the guys next to the junior high, he's like, ducks on the pond. I like that part too. And of course, the best Obanian one, I'm sorry, would be, what are you looking at, huh? Kick your fucking ass right now. What the fuck are you looking at? I love that part.
Or you must be fucking crazy as he pulls away from the wall. He must be.
Whoa, do you got any more you want to do?
No, I'm good on quotes.
Okay, let me go on. Let me just make sure. Okay, obviously,
Last one.
Slater and Dawson, we're just making fun of him. Check you later.
Check you later. Yeah, that was a good
And then
one.
another word.
Girls don't want to hear that crap.
Cynthia, man, I like it. Red's good color for you. My favorite color. I love when he says that shit. All right, I think I'm good. That's
Dude,
pretty
yeah, he just kills it. McConaughey makes I think quite a show.
Last quick one for Benny. I got a Benny
Sure.
one when they're at the baseball game. He's like, "Hey, hope you got more than a jockstrap under there, you little rat." He's like taunting him. Okay, There we go. All right, let's go. Now, as I said, this movie, there's not really a main character. So why don't you guys give me your power rankings of characters? Let's do maybe your power 3 or 5 if you can't do 3. 3 to 5.
Well, let's do 3 just to keep
3's
things
fine.
simple.
Whatever
Yep.
you want.
I like Pink. He's probably my number 1. I like for a female, Jodie. Seems like she plays a pretty important role, and you know what? I'll give it up to McConaughey. He'd be my 3.
Wooderson. Woj.
Okay, I would go with. I'm gonna exclude Pink, but Pink is my guy. Obviously,
Gotcha.
he's the fucking guy of it. Wooderson for sure. I got Slater, and then I got Mike Newhouse.
Mike?
What's his name?
Oh, I got Mike, yeah, for sure. The
Mike,
Adam,
right?
the guy who got in the fight.
Adam Goldberg. Yeah.
Yes, Adam Goldberg. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm fucking.
No,
crazy.
I'm
It was
fucked up. I'm sorry, dude. I fucked up.
That's all good.
I obviously think Wooderson's the best in the movie, Matthew McConaughey, but my favorite personally is Donnie. I fucking love Donnie.
Donnie's funny, man.
He's
Donnie's
like the glue
good.
man, like the Luol Deng of this movie, where he's just like keeping everything like together. He's always in the best scenes with like different groups, but he's always there.
He was the floater. Donnie
Right.
was. That's like in high school. I was very much the same. I hung out with burnouts. I hung out with the jocks. So I
Yes.
get it.
And then
Bobby is Donnie.
And then I would go Slater, and then coming in 4th and 5th, O'Banion, and then Mike for me.
I like
Even though
the
we only
stoner.
asked
What's
you
his
3.
name? The one with the long
Hey,
hair.
I'm just saying.
Who's is that?
Slater.
Pickard.
Stoner?
The one with the long hair.
Slater.
Yeah, Slater.
No, but then
The long hair.
Kevin Pickford or whatever.
He's talking about Roy Cochran. He's talking about the Stone.
No, I understand.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just.
Sorry.
It's all good.
So Slater.
All right. Yeah. And
Got
then
it.
as far as like guys, can't put my finger on. I don't know. I didn't really have that. I had like Pickford's dad. He looks familiar to me. I don't really know.
What, that guy? Are we doing
Yeah,
that guy?
if there was one, I had him, but I didn't really have that like any for that. So if you guys have any you want to throw in there, go ahead. If not,
Sorry, apparently Renee Zellweger is not the same. So
Yeah.
what's her name? As Simone was that girl.
Joey Lauren Adams.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I mix up the actresses. I really do.
Yeah, I would just have a couple of general comments about
Go
the
ahead.
cast here real quick.
Please.
So I wrote down in my notes, easier to talk about those who sucked or were awful and didn't go on to stardom in this movie than the people that did. So like in this movie, you have so many people that ended up going on to act for a number of years and
Sure.
prominent shit, stuff you would absolutely know them from. The coaches, teachers, some of the younger kids like really didn't become famous. That's the only people that I can kind of see of like maybe they were acting, but like really nothing of prominence. The banter between Tony and Mike though, that's such like it seems like a genuine friendship of like one guy going to like, hey man, like got this dream, you're not going to tell anybody, and he tells him about the Abe Lincoln
Abe
scene or
Lincoln,
whatever,
super hot
and
chick, Abe
all
Lincoln.
Mike comes back was like, oh sorry, and then they like leave. It's like it's like
They did have a good pickup. I liked the
Right.
dialogue. Seemed very natural.
So yeah, I mean, just in terms of like the general cast,
yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people that ended up. It's like the freaks and geeks type of
Question
thing to me.
is for that guy, for Tony, was he the bad dude from Road Trip?
Yes.
So he's that guy,
Okay.
and I'm not a big fan of him. He gives off that kind of
Yes.
Dahmer vibes.
Yeah.
So and he kind of looks like him. So
Yeah. I would say to touch on what Woj said about the cast, that great job by I'm assuming Richard Linklater or whoever. Like it's like you said with Freaks and Geeks. Like man, he just had an eye for talent. Like Ben Affleck was in like maybe a couple movies. Like
yeah, he wasn't
the
in
one
anything
with
huge
Brendan
before that.
Fraser where they pick on him, Matt Damon. I forget what it's called.
Oh,
school
yeah,
ties or whatever
something
it's
like
called.
that.
Anyway, and then but everybody else virtually is like an unknown
Fresh
at
meat.
the time. So like and
Fresh meat was his prison.
And I think the reason too, a lot of it is because a lot of the movie's budget went to the licensing for the music, which is so important and so key to this movie, which we're gonna get into. But I'm just saying like that working out with casting these unknowns and on the cheap. Man, what a great job by them.
Well, I think it's just simply it's a part of the time of like, if you can get a lot of young actors into a film like this is why I think the film does very well, is like you're trying to portray, I would say like 10 different main quote unquote characters or like central characters.
Yes.
So you get the people who are going to be younger at that time. Well, I did just a quick mention is like, I do like the fact that like, this movie to me seems like they did actually try and get people who are around the same age group.
They weren't at least look like it. Yeah.
Or at least look like
it. It wasn't forced. It was
obviously there's going to be a couple that you're like, oh, they look a little bit older or whatever. But like you've seen some horrific examples of people who or movies that you're like, this person's trying to play an 18-year-old. You're 28. Like, what the fuck are we doing
and
here?
They got great chemistry, and to me, it feels like like they're real people. Like to me, when I watch the movie, it's like I want to hang out with these people. I want to spend a day with the life. It's kind of just
you're
like
right. They're very relatable. Very
cool
on point.
Hangout movie. I love that.
And just another little quick mention is just like Richard Linklater is like one of the most remembered or
this is his first big breakthrough or whatever. So good for him getting that because he might.
I'm just saying he's like a very known director. He's up there in the category of I think like Spielberg and
he's well known.
Scorsese and stuff like I'm just saying in terms of a
notoriety. Sure.
Yeah, he's done a lot of those big films.
All right, let's get into the
soundtrack. Let's fucking
because
go, dude.
This is the meat and potatoes of the movie. Really, just
it pulls together all the scenes.
Makes everything work. And I would also tell you guys that all these songs Richard Linklater I think personally picked out, and he made sure that they would have been out at the time that this movie takes place.
Very smart.
There is no song that takes place after May, 1976. So
no, all of them are prior to that. Yes,
are around the time, or you would have heard them on the radio.
Excellent.
And like, man,
they're talking about Aerosmith at the end too, getting some tickets.
Starting off with, we're gonna get into the more.
Go ahead.
Starting off with Sweet Emotion really kicks off the movie, and I also love the ending with Slow Ride. I think both the capping both the movies with those songs was really a great job. The slow motion brings you in with Sweet Emotion, the cars, see people rolling joints. Like, he just puts you in the 70s mood. And also for me, I would just say too, like, when I hear these songs, like on my Spotify or on the radio or whatever, I think of the scenes of the movie. Like,
I do too.
Like, I visualize it. That's how good of a job I think they did and how good of songs they chose.
Let me also just mention those that like I think they did a great job of putting with Slow Ride. You have like the solo part of the song, that's what works there. If you put in like the slow ride, take it easy, like if you just did that part, it's like the solo part of that song is just so much fucking better.
It's the build up, the ban.
But then I'm just saying when you get to the solo parts, it gives a little, like you said, meat and potatoes to me of a scene. Like I think it definitely fits the scenes very well. I mean, some are really on the nose, like No More Mr. Nice Guy when they're fucking getting paddled and stuff like that.
Sure, and School's Out.
School's Out, right. But even then, I still, like I said, in my favorite scenes, I still enjoyed that scene more for the nostalgic of like that feeling of being like, fuck this place for the next 3 months. So
right? I guess I would ask you guys, give me maybe like your three, either you guys say favorites or maybe 3 songs that when you hear them you think of this movie specifically.
Bob Dylan for like sure.
The Hurricane.
Hurricane. Yeah. Love that song too. Bob Dylan, one of my top probably 20 artists, just due to his just unique ability to pull it together. But Fastlane, or sorry, was it Free Ride? Sorry,
Slow Ride.
Slow Ride.
Wasn't Life in the I thought that was in this Life in the Fastlane. Oh man.
There's Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss.
Free Ride. Free Ride.
Maybe I'm thinking of Free Ride.
By the Edgar Winter Group when they're cruising.
Sorry, I'm mistaken one with the other. Sorry.
Okay. Free Ride.
Free Ride definitely makes me think of this movie.
Okay.
I got ZZ Top Tush.
Yes, when they're knocking over the mailboxes.
Dope.
Yes.
I also had Love Hurts. It's fucking, and they're playing
the 8th grade dance.
Playing in the 8th grade dance. It's so funny.
And then Sweet Emotion. That's starting that too.
I'm gonna go 4 because I don't give a. I'm gonna go 5.
Ahead.
Actually,
There's so many. I don't care.
Paranoid by Black Sabbath that's one of the ones that gets me fucking going. And then Tuesday's Gone. Classic.
Yes.
Summer Breeze by
Summer Breeze.
Seals and Crofts.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they fucking get me going. It's great. Great fucking.
All right. So I'm going to just go over. We mentioned the
Summer Breeze gets you going. All right.
We mentioned the Hurricane for sure. That's iconic. When Wooderson the Mentor. Slow Ride we mentioned. I like Tush as well. Stranglehold I thought was really good when they're in the woods. When they're going in the woods, him and Jody are going to make out. I love Lowrider when they're cruising around after the baseball game.
Yeah, you know what, man? I missed on that. Lowrider for sure.
We talked about Tuesday's Gone. We talked about Free Ride. I love Free Ride. No More Mr. Nice Guy, like you said. Why can't we be friends when they're hazing the freshman girls? Like, you love us. And it's like,
I didn't pick up on that one. I guess maybe.
Definitely Summer Breeze when Mitch and Julie are making out. And then I also mentioned before, Right Place, Wrong Time. He's all fucked up with the party. I think that's a great use of.
You're right, that one for sure.
And then I really like underrated one. I think is I Just Want to Make Love to You, also by Foghat. They play that during the Moon Tower party, like Melvin's dancing on the truck and shit. And also when they're cruising around the one time before they say "Check you later," they're playing it and the 8-track. I thought that was pretty good.
Nice.
I like Melvin. Great character. Great add-on to the
Any
group.
other songs you guys have?
I just again.
All right, cool.
I echo that the soundtrack is one of the.
You can
greatest,
literally name every song.
One of the greatest movie soundtracks.
It's a double disc, phenomenal. One of the best soundtracks of all time for sure.
Movie soundtracks, yes.
Soundtracks.
Okay. Well.
I'm more with Woj on this one, but yeah,
it's fine. Moving on. Moving on.
Soundtracks.
Next one.
Anyway, let's go with your favorite cinematic shot, if you have any.
I kind of mentioned the slow-mo before. Sure. I wouldn't even say a shot. It's just literally a still, basically, of like they read it out, like veined out the eyes of the mural.
Oh, of the Uncle
at the
Sam
school. Yeah.
Yep.
I never noticed that before.
The bloodshot eyes in the joint.
Bloodshot eyes in the joint.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Mine. I liked it when I guess they panned through just the like me. I'm a car guy. That parking lot, just like that feeling. School's out.
The opening scene.
Yeah, the opening scene. You get to see all these hot rods, all these cool trucks,
slow motion.
Yeah, and it just it really brings you in. So for me, that's definitely one of the more cinematic ones.
I had that. I have definitely either. I think a good one is Mitch getting paddled in slow motion. What Mr. Nice Guy plays. And they're like flipping the bat to each other and laughing, and like they capture that really well. But definitely the slow motion shot again of Wooderson, Pink, and Mitch while the Hurricane plays. I think that's the most iconic. Also, I like the shot of them outside of the Emporium when he says the whole thing about the girls get younger. They say same age and I get older or whatever.
Getting older.
Yeah.
I like this one. If you have to do a snapshot, is Mitch and his buddy Carl smirking at O'Banion behind the door, like.
Oh, I saw you, little second
you
shit.
Little shit. Yeah.
So let's go with a spin-off, prequel, or sequel. Obviously, it's only one day, so there's a lot to expand on if they wanted to. But also, it's also the charm of the movie. But still, if we had to do something.
Wooderson was a former athlete, right?
So I would kind of want to see
Wooderson. Yeah, I would want to see Wooderson's tales, I guess, for a high school run.
Wooderson Tales.
That's a good idea. I like it. Name. How about you, Woj?
McConaughey, sign me.
I would love to see a football season, and I put in quotations, varsity blues kind of style.
Yes.
But I think with the 70s, oh God, my fucking voice.
We're gonna lose him. Fucking get the paddles.
No, I just think that in the Richard Linklater kind of style, like that would be fucking like above us. Like, because correct me if I'm wrong, Varsity Blues takes place like late 80s, early 90s. That's when it's supposed the time.
Yeah,
period.
that's about right.
Was it? I thought it was just present day in '99 when it came out.
Okay, I
thought it was 90s.
I might be incorrect.
I thought it was 90s.
I think it was late 90s. Yeah.
Okay, so late 90s either way. That's a different aspect of the way that they did that shit, especially like again Richard Linklater style. Like I think that would be dope. I also have the next 2 years. Like what did they do like after that? Like college time. Like did they actually go to college? Did they not go to college?
I think O'Banion would be in jail at that point.
I had the same kind of thing as Woj. I wanted to see the upcoming football season that year. Did Pink play? Did he not play?
Yeah.
They left it open-ended, but he did say, I'm not signing this. If I play, I play.
What happened with Mitch and Julie, maybe? Or is Tony and Sabrina? What's going on with Jody and Pink? There's a lot of...
Can I just say, I didn't like the Tony and Sabrina.
No, neither did I.
I didn't, yeah. I think
I didn't like that track.
I think it was a good idea, but I don't think they had any chemistry, really. I don't see why she would like him so much, I guess, would be my question.
I think it was kind of forced. That's all.
And if I didn't have that one, another one I had was I would like to see kind of a similar thing, but 3 years later where Mitch is now Pink and he's doing it to the
fun!
freshmen.
I love that. He's paddling
they're
the
the
shit out of
seniors
them.
and that kind of thing.
Okay, one thing, he does look like Tim Lincecum, so him as a pitcher was kind of fun.
So I have a couple of just random questions for you guys if we're good to move on.
All right, let's go.
Let's do a couple, and then we gotta still do.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry.
I'm sorry. I have a couple other just comments that I want.
Okay.
Let me do my thing. I got it. What's your guys' favorite paddle of the guys that they had? So you had the Fuck You paddle from O'Banion, Soul Pole from Melvin. You got Benny's paddle with the speed holes and the 4-leaf clover with a little blood on the end of it. I like the Soul Pole personally. I think that was my favorite.
Didn't even realize. I saw the Fuck
I like the Fuck You. That's great.
And I literally took 4 minutes to try and
figure that
out
one out.
What was it trying to say, and then I gave up. So I didn't even know.
Really?
Okay.
Over his head.
One last question.
All right.
What positions do you think the other guys played in the football team? So we know Pink's the quarterback. We know Banion's the offensive lineman. What do you think Donnie plays? What do you think Melvin plays? What do you think Benny plays?
Donnie's got to be, I think, linebacker. He screams linebacker to me.
Yeah, I'd say defensive end or linebacker.
Maybe defensive end.
I was thinking Donnie might be like a defensive back or a fullback or something like that, like a running back maybe.
I was giving that more to the...
he's kind of tiny.
I was going to... like I said, defensive end. He seems... You need someone crazy as a defensive
He seems
end.
too short to like.
Dude, there's a lot of... Michael Strahan isn't that tall.
Like to me, like Melvin would be like a defensive end, or Benny might be...
I think Melvin was more D-line.
Well, I'm saying defensive end. It's a D
No,
line.
D end is, I think, a hybrid. D end could be a skinnier dude. You're trying to get to the quarterback.
But D end means you're on the end of the line. Defensive end is
he
literally...
He does have a point there, Bob.
I'm just saying, if I'm thinking of if I'm thinking of a defensive lineman, I'm not thinking of a defensive end in my mind.
I didn't say tackle. I said lineman, which could be end or tackle.
All right, so I'm gonna go this. I'm gonna go
this fucking guy.
I'm gonna go Donnie as I'm gonna say an outside linebacker. I'm gonna go Benny as a. I kind of like if they just in my personal
I like him
fantasy.
as a running back.
No, I like both of those guys to go. Those are the Bash brothers, Benny and Donnie.
Oh, the backfield.
He's a linebacker too.
Yeah, like outside and middle linebacker or some shit. That's just
Okay.
my fantasy. And then Melvin, to me, I'm thinking like he's like a tight end, or maybe they even just say, "Fuck it, Melvin, you're gonna be like a big ass wide receiver."
So I feel like Benny's either offensive or defensive line. He's like a bigger dude, probably push some people around. And Melvin, I could see him being a linebacker or a defensive end, like Bobby said. I think Donnie to me is, like I said, like a running back, fullback, or maybe like a corner, like a defensive back, like a
safety. I can
like
see him
something
as
like
a
that.
safety.
Yeah, like where he's athletic, but he's not like super big, but he can like still drop.
No,
every
that's
now
perfect.
And
Yeah,
then.
be him a safety, a strong safety.
Okay, cool. That was just my random question right there. So I think all I have left is like picking nits and grade, unless you have something else you want to touch on. So
yeah, I just got a couple quick guys to run by you here.
Sure.
If you guys know, like, there's a lot of politics and history, mainly with the.
They edited out a few scenes that definitely dove.
But I'm
into
just
that
saying,
more,
like
yeah.
Mike and Tony, is that his name?
Yeah.
Right. Mike and Tony, they do a lot. There's a lot of political and history and stuff like that. And with who's the red chick? Cynthia. To me, I'm just like, I get it as like that's like their personality, but like it's tough to follow in the movie. Like I was trying to kind of come up with like a question about it, and I was like, it's just tough to think about like 70s politics.
I think about like who.
I kind of like their cerebral conversation.
I think
it kind of adds.
I
to
like
the
the
character.
conversation. I'm just saying like the context of it. I'm trying to follow. It's so tough.
I think it adds to the time of the movie that takes place, and it puts you at that time that they're asking these specific questions that we might not know about them, obviously, because we didn't grow up then. But I think people who did, even back in '93, it was only 16 years later, or whatever. They probably knew something about it more than we might. So it didn't bother me, but Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying it just was a thing of like I noticed it a couple different times, and I'm like, that's interesting.
The older, sorry, go ahead. You finish your thoughts.
No, I'm good.
The
Go
older
ahead.
gentleman who talks to Pink after the game, he grabs his left arm. He's like, "Is this arm gonna
2,000 yards?
2,000?" I was like, "He's a righty because you saw him throw the paper."
I was thinking
He
that
threw,
too.
he threw the
threw the-
keys.
he
He
threw
throws
the
the keys
keys
as
and the
well.
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
So I was
had
like,
that too.
was that maybe he was just grabbing him because that's the side he was on? I don't know, but I was like, that kind of because I was like, he's a righty.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, isn't he righty? I thought the same thing.
Yeah, not really picking it yet, but just a comment is like O'Banion and Darla are psychopaths, certifiable.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
Who the fuck does that? That's the craziest shit I've
He's
ever
for
seen.
sure is going to be in jail in
They're
the
like
next
the
couple of
people
years.
who wait to be a senior just to do this. Like
Right.
it was like they've been waiting their whole life.
It's
for it.
craziness there.
And there's conversations like, hey, I don't want to look back and think these are my best days. I'll fucking kill
Right,
myself.
yeah.
So a lot of these other guys, I kind of get their more mentality. He's like, hey, we're here. Might as well fucking enjoy it. So I like that there was a dichotomy
I get
of
that.
opinion.
Just another comment here. Phenomenal name, Randall Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd, great name.
It's just like a great name for a character.
Yes.
I already mentioned the beer bus is dope. Did you guys catch Slater and Donnie's handshake?
I was gonna say all the handshakes were awesome. They had different ones, like Donnie and Wooderson had one, Slater and Pickford and Pink.
I did notice
I'm sorry,
that.
it's not Slater. It was Wooderson and Donnie's. Wooderson and Donnie's is sniffing the finger,
Sniffing the
other
finger,
person's
yeah.
finger. That's fucking crazy.
There was all
dude.
different, and then they had the one with like Slater and Pickford, where they're doing, or it was Pink and Pickford doing the joint smoke thing.
Yeah.
My question is, real quick, this isn't a piggy nit, but how much money was on the table where after they won the pool match or whatever, they're like, all right, we got keg money and we're going to be at the motel. It's like, shit was like, I'm not sure if it was a 20 or on the table or a 50 that could afford
Dude, if you
all
notice, the gas prices were 50 and 60 cents.
60
So I think
yeah.
kegs were probably like $10.
Well,
I don't know.
I would assume that they're probably throwing down like
the 20 spot, maybe. I don't know.
like $6 probably.
Well,
is
too,
probably,
you could probably-
it's probably the equivalent to a 20 back
Probably
then.
too. You could just charge people when they get there for a cup. Like, hey, give me $5.
No,
a
he
cup
was
or
talking
whatever.
about the pool table.
The pool, because after
Yeah.
they won that, they're like, hey,
they
now
bought
we
all
have
the
money
beers.
for
Yeah.
keg and a motel. I'm like,
Yeah.
that had to be a 20 spot in the 70s.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that you could afford those
I
two
think what it
things.
would probably be is like it would probably be a 10 or like $11 or something like that.
Dude,
So
you could-
22 would probably get you.
I bet you that 6-pack was like $2.
Probably, yeah.
You probably gave him like a 5 and it was like, give me a 6er. And it was
Right.
Like,
I totally believed it. That shit's crazy.
I had a couple. Like,
I have. Let me
Sure,
just
go ahead, man.
let me just go with my last
Go ahead.
picking nits because that's where you're going, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. Everybody would be passed out by. They started smoking and drinking at 4 or 5 p.m. I don't give a shit if you're fucking Willie Nelson. You're smoking and drinking steadily for fucking
They break it up by
12
doing different
hours.
things, though.
very, very seemingly, but like every other scene has weed and drinking and fucking all this shit.
I would just counter it maybe by saying weed was less potent back in the 70s.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
shit.
It's not trying to ruin your
It
dreams.
took you more to get higher. I
mean,
feel like
yeah,
than it
maybe.
could be compared to now.
I got you. That's
But
a good.
Science has gotten us this far.
Point taken though with the mixing of the alcohol and the weed.
I'm just saying when you're going
yeah.
so hard for so long, like somebody had to have fucking.
I just think that
passed
they're about this life and they do this all the time. That's what they just do.
Fair point. Fair point.
I had like, for me, you talking about the one part. I didn't think the Abraham Lincoln dream anecdote really worked for me. It seemed kind of random, and like,
Yeah.
it's the only part of the movie I was like, they didn't really hit for me. Like,
And they could have excluded it.
yeah,
It would have
like
changed.
it did nothing really. I mean, they kind of referenced it later, like maybe you'll stop having dreams with Abraham Lincoln. But other than that, it didn't really play a
right.
factor
You're
into
right.
it. It's not a big thing, but I just this time I'm like, I didn't really care for it. And then I just put down. I just think they should have had the party at the Moon Tower from the beginning. Why would you fucking go to Pink's house?
Why would you go to a house?
The Moon Tower is an
Makes
awesome
no
spot, and if it's open all the time, why are you even worried about someone's house? You could literally just drive out to this field and get drunk and like
Yeah, you're in Texas. I think that'd be almost the standard,
yeah,
right?
like
I don't know.
it seemed like they were like, oh, what should we do? But like clearly the Moon Tower is always there, and you've done this before. Like why wouldn't you just do it? From the
Yeah, it
beginning?
does. It does seem like a logical option for sure.
All right, that's all I got. I'm ready now to move on to our final own stream or skip and our grades.
Okay.
All right, I'll start things off.
Go ahead.
I think that this is definitely one worth owning. But like I said, it's very easy to pick up streaming. I'm not sure, was this available on any platforms?
You had to rent it or purchase it.
Okay, because I picked mine up at the library, go figure.
Yeah.
That's what we have right here.
Actually,
There it is.
What, you got my copy still too?
Yep.
Yeah, I watched. Yeah.
There's some deleted scenes in here in the Blunt
Somewhere
Truth,
around
which
here.
is a fun little add-on in the bonus features. If you guys check it out, go check it out, man. I would rank this one as a 9.6. I really think that it hits on a lot of different levels. It's, I think, well put together. The music, everything flows well in this movie. Like I said, outside of a few kind of forced in elements,
Sure.
real good time. Great movie.
Attaboy.
Am I going?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Before I give my rating, I don't understand why Mila Jovovich is on the cover.
Dude,
Yeah, she's in
she
the
has
movie
like,
all of for
what,
3 minutes.
3 lines the entire movie.
They should put that girl Posey on there, if anything.
Yeah.
Parker Posey, Jory Lauren Adams, either of
Jody.
those.
Jody, literally anybody.
Anyone else?
Very
Yeah.
interesting that they put on.
I agree. I was going to comment that too. That's a good point.
I would definitely say that this is one of those movies that I think kicks off the. And again, I'm talking on my ass right now for sure, but like one of those movies though that like you recognize is like, oh, they did the previous decade very well. Of like, hey, they set it in the 70s, they fucking hit it off like a home run and did all that shit. So with that, I would say it has to be an own if you are if you are buying movies and you're saying like, hey, what should I get? This is one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Did we say where it was at? Like I don't even
It's
know.
not streaming. It's available to. It's
or
available to rent streaming wise. We got to pay for like $3.99,
but
It's
not
not on
free.
a platform.
Amazon,
Free anywhere.
Voodoo.
Yeah, it's not anywhere.
Wherever, but yeah.
Because I searched for it too and I couldn't find anything.
It used to be on Hulu like maybe half a year ago, and it got taken off, obviously.
Okay.
But it might float on different sites.
Right.
From
It's
time
on
to time.
TV a lot. I know.
You can catch it on TV. You can just buy like you said, the DVD for probably like $4 and just own it, and it's just well worth it.
And I think the cost effectiveness of that is you
instead of
should
renting
own
it one time,
Right.
it's one of those movies that you'd like to watch more than one time. Probably, I would assume.
Absolutely. So my rating would be. I'm gonna go 9.5.
Ooh, okay, finally, Russian judge.
Excellent.
Coming up.
Excellent.
No, 9.5 seems right for again how many stars were in it and just.
Oh, and
fucking-
the way it's made feels like the 70s.
I
the
gotta
music.
tell you guys, I'm a big Jason London fan. Jason London, fucking man, that guy. I'm
great.
just saying, he's such a good like main character type of guy. I don't know how else to
He only
describe
did like
him.
3 movies, but yeah.
I was
Yeah.
going to be like, dude,
I'm
keep
just
your
saying
heart
he's-
on down, I guess. I don't
He's
know.
got the main character look.
No,
That's
he
all
does.
that I can say.
I was just
Yeah.
saying, I'm surprised he didn't have more of a career. Like a
Agreed.
better-
Sorry, I
'cause
should probably follow that up.
He basically had this Out Cold,
Out
which
Cold
is like
was
a
great.
little well-known
Funny, yeah.
early 2000. Maybe
How Cold I Will Do at some point because that's the
and
funniest
then he was in like I think
movie.
like something 2, like some horror Carrie 2.
right,
or
no, but
something.
you're right. He doesn't have too much of a
But
I don't
his-
know, rap sheet on that.
He also has a
sense.
twin brother, Jeremy, who was in a bunch of shit too. He was
Yeah.
in Mallrats and Seventh Heaven and shit like that. So for me, obviously it's an own. It's a 10. It's not, if I could go higher, I would go higher.
Oh man.
This is like my second favorite movie ever, probably. Like I said, you could catch it at any point and you can watch it from there and you'll love it. The music, the acting, the way it's filmed, the realness you feel. It's like a
it
classic
feels very genuine, yes.
hangout movie. One of the greatest takes place in one day movies.
12-hour clock, man.
Just like
Sprays all fields.
just great, yeah. And I feel like probably inspired other things. Maybe like Superbad or something like that, where I could see where it's kind of like in a similar vein of like,
You're right.
derivation of it.
it's a little different, but
I could see
less
that,
more
more
focusing
modern.
on 3 characters
Yeah.
as opposed to a bunch. But
Right.
one day at the end of high school,
Well, Superbad, they have
you
quite a
know.
few different characters. They
Yeah.
explore Becca a little bit and some of the other, yeah.
But just a really
get
great,
you.
great movie, especially if you love 70s shit and just really good. Pick it up, watch it, rent it, whatever you got to do. Go see
It'd be
it.
a lot cooler if you did,
A lot
man.
cooler if you
Be
did,
a lot
man.
cooler if you did.
There would be no McConaughey without this movie. So thank you, Matthew.
Thank you,
McConaughey.
Matthew
Dazed and
McConaughey.
Confused.
Thank you for getting super ripped and playing a great
So who's Woj?
me. No, I'm bringing it
No,
back.
Bobby.
Because
Okay.
I had Shawshank.
That's right. That's right. Okay, Bobby.
And I hope you guys might not have seen it, but if whatever, Empire Records. That is the movie.
Yes. I have
you
actually.
have-
I have not. I've been wanting to.
So Empire Records, get yourself set for a good time.
All
Empire
right.
Records is a great movie.
Hell yeah, that's got Slater in it, I believe.
I
Roy
believe it
Cochran,
does,
Roy
yeah.
Cochran, yeah. It's got
and as Renee Zellweger, who looks very similar to the one actress. So.
All right, I'm looking forward to
it.
it.
Yeah, it's kind of that nice hippie, you know.
Yeah.
So we got Empire Records, and then what was the
It
album?
was Fall Out Boy,
Fall Out
Infinity
Boy.
on High.
Infinity on High. So we got those two rocking for the next episode. Boys, another great one in the can. When you do a great movie, you get a great episode. That's my fucking
I am very excited about this one.
signature there. All right, so the Journeymen Lounge podcast, we are out. We'll be back here coming at you. We got some shit on Instagram. Check that shit out.
Like, subscribe, leave a comment. We'd love to hear from
That
you guys.
stuff is all in the description there, so check it out. For Woj,
Bobby.
The Gambit.
we will talk to y'all next week. Peace.
Check you later.
Check you later.